A couple of months ago, Patrick was making 12K per month from his tutoring business. Today, he's able to consistently hit 70K months with just 4 hours per month of recording content. But here's what's interesting. He didn't change his teaching style or simply work more hours. He just changed one critical system in his business. In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how he transformed Patrick's tutoring business and how we can apply the same framework to your own teaching business. I've spent the last year helping tutors build predictable client acquisition systems, and we've helped Arada go from barely scraping by to collecting $1,000 in 3 days with just $25 of daily ad spend. Marta went from inconsistent bookings to collecting 8K in her first month with us, while also cutting her acquisition costs in half. But Patrick's transformation has been the most dramatic case study yet. And in this video, I'm gonna break down the exact 5-step system that we use to scale Patrick's SAT prep business. You'll see the specific ads we ran, the whole sales framework, and the whole content strategy that took his close rate from 10 to 50%. This isn't just some theory, this is the actual process that we used to generate him over $200,000 so far. Here's what we'll cover. First, the crucial offer adjustment that allowed him to basically double his pricing power. Second, the exact Facebook ad strategy that's currently generating him from 4 to 7 calls every single day. Third, the content system that only requires 4 hours of filming per month. Fourth, the sales script that basically 5x'd his conversion rates. And finally, the whole automation setup that manages everything. Before we dive in, hit the subscribe button if you're serious about scaling your tutoring business. Now let's start with the offer transformation that changed everything. Alright, so let me show you exactly how we transformed Patrick's offer to 1. Double his pricing power, and 2. Attract higher quality students. But before we actually dive in, I need you to understand something crucial, right? Most tutors make the fatal mistake of selling time. They position themselves as someone who helps with homework or test prep for $25, $50, or maybe sometimes even $100 per hour. And here's exactly why that's killing your business. When you sell your time, you become a commodity. Parents can easily compare you to other tutors based on price alone. And trust me on this, there's always someone who's willing to charge less. So the first thing we did with Patrick, and that we absolutely need to do with all of our clients, is we need to restructure the offer. So let's say for an A-level math tutor, right? Instead of selling 10 sessions at £40 per hour, we reposition the offer as a university prep program for students targeting competitive STEM degrees. Now, this sounds like we help year 13 students secure top A-level math grades and strengthen their applications for engineering, computer science, or economics degrees with exam prep, strategic coaching, and application support built in. And I'm not sure if you understood all of that, but the main point is it's the same subject, it's the same tutor, but you're not just helping them with the math, you're helping them unlock their future. And that's why you can then charge premium prices, because it's positioned around the outcomes, not just the hours that you'll be putting in, right? Because people don't actually care how much effort you put in, they care about how many results and how good of results they get. So we didn't just change the name, right? We actually transformed the entire value proposition. So the program included weekly live sessions, custom study plans, practice tests with detailed analysis. And when we presented this new offer to potential clients, we didn't lead with features. Instead, we focused on 3 key emotional triggers that we discovered that parents care about. So first is their fear of their child missing out on their dream college. Second is their desire to give their child every possible advantage. And third, their worry about wasting money on ineffective solutions. So when you position the entire offer on 1, results, and 2, emotional triggers that you know that your audience will respond with, you will get a lot better results on your front end, on your middle of funnel, and at your bottom of funnel. So now that we've got a compelling offer, what we need is to get it in front of the right people. So I see a lot of tutors get stuck here because they rely either entirely on word of mouth or they waste thousands on very, very poorly targeted ads. So let me show you the exact Facebook ad strategy that we use to generate him 4 to 7 calls every single day. But first, I need to get rid of a myth. You don't need a huge ad budget to start. In fact, most of our clients began with either $30 per day or even less. The key really is in the targeting and messaging because most tutors go way too broad. Like, let's say, parents interested in education, or is your child struggling with math? I can help with math, right? Instead, we want to create what I call the perfect parent profile, where we actually did most of the targeting through our messaging. So we didn't really use any like fancy graphics or professional videos. Instead, what we did was like very simple video and static creatives. And for the video, it's like again extremely simple 60-second video where Patrick literally talks directly to the camera. First, addresses the ideal client directly, describes the exact problem that they're facing right now and how we fix it for them. And then lastly, we actually put a CTA in there, right? So, like I said, we structured the ads into three main parts. First, we call out the parents, we describe the problem and promise the result that we can get them. Second is we explain how we actually get these results. Here is where you can talk a little bit about your features and how you're different. And third, you can just use a very simple call to action like, if this sounds like something you're interested in, click on the link below to reserve your spot today. That's it. Very, very simple ads. But you want to make sure that first your offer is on point, because if you go into the ads too soon and your offer isn't on point and isn't exactly what people are looking for, your ads will never perform, and it doesn't matter what you do in your ads manager, nothing will work. So make sure that the offer is on point. Once you got the offer and you know that this is what people are looking for, just present it to them in a very simple way and your ads will convert. So while the ads were bringing in immediate results, we needed something more long term to build authority and reduce ad costs and potentially get like exponential returns, right? So this is where our content system comes in. But the thing is, Patrick was initially like really resistant, and honestly, he is still very resistant to filming content. So we developed a system that we call the 4-hour content machine. Here's how it works. Once a month, Patrick just blocks out 4 hours for filming, and during this time, we are able to record enough content for 30 days of posts across all social media platforms. And with Patrick specifically, we're even using AI so that his workload is very, very minimal. And most of the time, he doesn't even spend the 4 hours of filming, it's much less. So we identified like three main types of content that consistently perform well, specifically for Patrick's case, right? So the first was SAT tips and strategies. So Patrick does SAT and ACT exam prep, right? So for you, that would be like whatever your subject is, right? If you do chemistry, you can just explain the reactions and molecules, right? So just give him some practical tips, strategies, how to solve like problems, how to solve equations if you do math. Second, we know that what since we did the offer, right? We know that these students care about getting into college, having like good jobs, stuff like that, right? So the second type of content that we know performs is college admission insights. And lastly, the third is just proof, right? So student success stories and just showcasing that one, what we teach works and that people have gone through our program and have gotten results. This just basically helps you with credibility and trust. So for each pillar, we kind of created 5 different video formats. So we've got quick tips, which are usually about 30 seconds long. We've got how-to guides, which are about 2 to 3 minutes long. We've got student transformations. So that's the testimonials, which are usually around a minute. Common mistakes can be 1 to 2 minutes, and some expert insights, which can be a bit longer, so 2 to 3 minutes. And lastly, we've got the proven sales framework, right? So this is the most critical part of the system because if you can get the leads and can't convert them, then everything breaks, nothing works, and you're left with $0 in your bank account. So I'm going to share with you the exact sales framework that helped Patrick close 13,000 worth of sales in just one day. So let me break it down. First, you want to connect with the prospect. by building rapport and actually understanding their situation. Do not jump straight into your offer. Okay? Start by asking questions like what made you reach out for tutoring help and what have you tried so far? And then listen. Please listen actively to their responses. Pay attention to the specific words they use to describe their problems. Pay attention. What language do they use? How do they describe a problem? Like these are what we call pain point triggers. And you'll be able to reference these later in the conversation. Next, you want to educate them about your unique approach. And again, only start your pitch after you know every single detail about their current situation. What the problem is, what the goals are, what they've tried so far, what's holding them back, right? Once you got all of that down, only then educate them about your unique approach. So this is basically where you explain how your program works, but you want to frame it in terms of their specific needs, right? So if they mention that their child is falling behind in class, explain how with your daily support systems that can be prevented, right? And they will not get stuck anymore. You want to address the objections before they actually come up. And the most common objection in tutoring is price. So we address that by focusing on value and results, right? Get people in results-based thinking rather than cost-based thinking. So you want to share examples of other students' improvements and break down the long-term benefits of your program. And finally, it comes time to request the commitment. So don't be afraid to ask for the sale. A simple, are you ready to get to insert whatever goal they mentioned, is often more than enough what you need. And remember, selling is not about being pushy. It's about helping people make a decision that will benefit them, right? And when you truly believe in your program, selling becomes serving. And if you don't truly believe in your program, you've got some work to do on your back end anyway. And once Patrick's offer, ads, and content were performing, we had to make sure that the backend could actually handle all of that volume. So, what we did behind the scenes to make the system scalable and stress free was first, we optimized his CRM. We use Go High Level, not just to send reminders, but to actually like build a system that saves time, organizes stuff, and like gives clarity on where we're going and how basically how everything's going. We also placed a setter for him so that the setter can actually handle all of the inbound leads so that Patrick never has to call the leads, never has to message them or chase anyone. We also built an automated follow-up sequence. That's not just like to spam people. We actually crafted like a proper system to nurture the leads, right? We use personalized reminders, value-driven messages, and urgency triggers so that when someone actually finally books a call, they are actually ready to talk to you and ready to move forward. And they just need a little bit of slight push, right? And it's not like you have to convince them on everything and then convince them on why it's so expensive and blah, blah, blah. And then the most important thing, we tracked absolutely everything. Leads to booking ratio, landing page conversion rate, pickup rate, show up rate, everything. Now, why do we do that? Because when you have the data, you can see exactly what the bottleneck is, and you can improve that specific part. And that's how you create the endless cycle of improvement. You can stop guessing and you know where the issue actually is, right? Is it, your follow-up? Is it your call structure? And then you can actually fix that part, right? And it's not all confusing. It's like, oh, I'm not getting students. Why is that? You can then clearly see in your tracking sheet what is below KPI and hyper focus on that part. And the best part, Patrick barely had to touch any of this. His entire backend, from lead coming in to nurturing, calendar booked to onboarding, runs completely without him. Now, if you like a system like this fully built out for you from our team, you can click on the link below and schedule a call with me, and we'll see what we can do.